Hey everybody, welcome back. It's MJ here, just plain fun, and this is going to be volume 1 in a series of videos on the Stanley No45. I'm going to tell you more than you ever wanted to know about this plane and its history, so come along. Making sure I give proper credit, most of the information you're going to hear and see comes from this book by David Heckel. Here's an early 45, but we know that cabinet makers, joiners were doing this work, beading and dados and all that, long before the 45 came along, so what were they using? If you've been around the hobby long enough, you've probably seen a stack of planes similar to this, except stacked much higher. Or you've seen them in a wooden chest that just chock full of various molding planes, sash planes, rabbet, dado, etc. You name it, there was a plane similar to the ones you see below that could perform that function. The challenge for plane makers was they wanted to try to figure out how can we combine the functions of all of these planes into one unit, into one plane, into one tool, so that folks don't have to invest the time and money and all that into a whole series of planes to do multiple jobs. And one of the earliest attempts at solving this challenge was a plane that looked something like this. It wasn't exactly like this, but it was similar, i.e., it had these arms that were connected to a fence. It had these wooden wedges that could be used. You would loosen it up, and then you could adjust the fence via these arms, and it would come with multiple plane irons of different sizes. So in this case, you see that it's a skewed, but it might have been like a straight, plow setup where you'd have multiple size plow irons that would be installed in this. And of course, with the moving fence, think of like a moving filletster. Then you would have the ability to do multiple different functions, in this case plow, with the same tool. There were some other combination planes that came out between 1840 and the Miller's patent, but this is the next one that I have an example of I can show you. So this patent was issued to Charles Miller in 1870, and he was employed by the Stanley Rule and Level Company, and that is what this one looked like. As you can see, this particular Miller's patent has seen better days, but now that it has starred in this video, it's ready to be an organ donor. Moving forward by a couple of years, Rufus Dorn got a dado combination plane patented in 1872, and then it was redesigned by Justice Trout, and it later became the number 46 and number 47 series of skewed dado combination planes. These could actually perform 4 functions. And I know you're curious what those were. It was plow, match, filletster, and dado. And then again, it had the skewed blade, so it's really good for going across the grain. Also in 1872, our buddy Charles Miller was not to be outdone, so he designed another light combination plane. This is a later version, but the one that Charles Miller patented in 1872 later became the Stanley No. 50. In 1875, we see Charles Miller team up with the Leonard Bailey, and they come up with the No. 14 Victor combination plane. This is just the body. I don't have any of the attachments that go with it, but just give you an idea of what it looked like. If you're lucky enough to find one of these in halfway decent condition for a fair price, definitely snatch it up. These are sought after by collectors of Bailey stuff. But man, they are hard to find, and even harder to find in good condition and with most of their parts. Jumping forward to 1879, Jacob Seeley gets a patent for his No. 2 combination plane. Looks something similar to this. Here's a look at some of the additional attachments for the No. 2 Seeley, and some of that stuff may very well look familiar if you're familiar with the No. 45. But Seeley said that his plane could be used as a plow, dado, rabbet, bead, match, sash, or a filletster. And he continued to make improvements on this plane. Was issued multiple patents as he improved it. 1879, 81, 84, and ironically, his last patent was issued on the same day that Justice Trout got a patent on the Stanley No. 45. Just to put this in perspective, this Seeley No. 2 combination plane sold for $8 in 1891. So for a time, it was a direct competitor with the Stanley No. 45. If you've got an older 45, you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, my slitter is patented 1882, so how is that possible if the 45 didn't come out until 1884? And the answer is this patent was issued to Frank Rapalli in 1882, as the patent date notifier signifies. And this was included at the age appropriate time on both the Miller's patent as well as the number 46 and 47 dado planes. And then when the 45 came out in 84, it was just a natural transition. They went ahead and included it with the 45 as well. I didn't show you all the planes that preceded the number 45, but I showed you a select handful, and no doubt you saw some of the features on some of these older versions that later were incorporated into the number 45 when Justice Trout patented it. I'm sure you're wondering what's coming in Volume 2, and I know you can't wait for it to come out. So let me tell you, it's going to be kind of an overview, a look at the type study, and how we went from this, the early, type 1, 2 through type 3, all the way to the later version with the micro adjust vents and beyond. This is a sweetheart, and I'm going to go beyond that. So we're going to look at the type study in Volume 2. And who knows, maybe the number 55 will even make a grand entrance in the next video. And hey y'all, at the risk of this sounding like an ad, it's not my intent. Just about everything that you saw in this video is for sale, at least at the time of this video being released. So if you saw something that you need for one of your planes, by all means reach out to me. About the only thing not for sale is my user Stanley 45. Everything else, have at it. Let me know what you need. And most of all, thanks for watching.